Good morning, friend. Welcome to my kitchen. If you're new, my name is Becky, and we are going to be doing some epic breakfast freezer meal prep today. I have 5 recipes that I want to make today that are all high protein. We're going to load them with veggies, as many of the garden fresh veggies as we can. And they're going to be simple meals that can be just heated up either on your way to work, on your way to school, before school, when you get to school. They could be lunch prep. It can be whatever you want it to be. They're just going to be absolutely delicious and super easy to make. So I have a few peppers that I harvested from the garden and some onions here that I chopped up this morning. And we're gonna be in the kitchen for a while. So I went ahead this morning and I also started a slow cooker dinner. For I think 3 of the recipes, we need diced onions and peppers. So I'm just gonna saute them all together and we can divvy this up as we go. I am using the back of my knife to get these onions in this pot. I have 2 pots on the stove because in this second pot, I'm gonna get 4 pounds of breakfast sausage cooking because we need this for a couple of our recipes. For the breakfast sausage, I'm not gonna put any oil in, but I am gonna get a little bit of oil on those onions and peppers in just a minute. I'm also going to go ahead and just get some homemade garlic salts on these onions and peppers as well. The only prep I have done for today is dice those onions and peppers. I diced them earlier today because I was dicing onion and peppers for our dinner. So I thought while I have my knife out and my onions and peppers, I might as well dice them up for the recipes we're going to be making. While our onions and peppers and sausage are cooking, we're gonna get some bacon cooking in the oven at the same time and some potatoes. I think what I'm gonna do before I get my bacon and potatoes in the oven, I just preheated another oven to 400 degrees for the potatoes, is I wanna get going on our bread. So I want to make a ham and cheese and honey mustard pinwheel that can be heated up really easily. And then I also wanna make a sausage, egg, and veggie calzone, like a personal size calzone. I could not find a recipe for either of those. So I'm gonna make this up and I will, if it turns out, we'll find out together. I think it's gonna be delicious. I will write this recipe up for you. For the dough, for the calzone and the pinwheels, we're gonna make the dough. If you don't have the time or the desire to make your own dough, just go buy fresh pizza dough from the grocery store. I am going to use my 1-hour dinner roll recipe, but I'm gonna grind half the flour fresh, and we're going to do half fresh milled flour, half all-purpose flour. If you don't have a grain mill and you do wanna make your own dough, this dough is delicious with just 100% fresh milled, but I want these to be a little bit more filling, and I have found with my family, fresh milled flour makes it a little bit more of a filling meal. I'm gonna go microwave this. I mentioned 2 of the recipes we're gonna make, the ham and cheese honey mustard pinwheels, the sausage, egg, and cheese mini calzones, which is gonna use this dough. We're also going to make, let me grab some salt here. I don't want to use my garlic salt in this. I guess I could, it would be delicious. A high protein egg bake that is gonna be a personal size, mostly for me. Anyone in my family can have it if they want it. Then we're also gonna make a hash brown egg, high protein cheese, little mini muffin. So all these recipes are gonna be savory recipes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. Oh, we are going to do a take on instead of a breakfast burrito, we're gonna make breakfast quesadillas. Quesadillas are one of my favorite go-to easy dinners. Just bean and cheese quesadillas, or if I have some pre-cooked chicken or beef or something in the fridge, I'll throw that on there. So that's 3. I just gotta count this flour. 4. So it looks like we're gonna do basically about half this recipe with fresh milled and the other half with all-purpose. But I was thinking, we do breakfast burritos all the time. So that was 4, 5, I gotta count this real quick. 6, 7. We're gonna start with 7. Because we're using fresh milled, we might not need that 1/8 cup. I'm not gonna add the yeast yet because I want that bran and germ in the fresh milled flour to hydrate before we add the yeast. So we'll get this mixed up, and then if we need to add more flour, we can do that after it sits for about 20 minutes. That's why I wanted to get this going early. But I thought a breakfast quesadilla is something I've never made before. It sounds delicious. We're gonna put a ton of veggie. Well, I don't know if we're gonna put veggies in that one yet, but we're gonna load it up with protein and it's gonna be delicious, I think. So I'm gonna mix this. While this is mixing, I actually wanna get some zucchini chopped up. My goal is to try to get as many of these garden tomatoes in these recipes as we can, and then as much of this zucchini used up. I put half of this zucchini in our breakfast smoothie this morning. And let's see, let's go with, I have some potatoes down here. We're gonna use some other potatoes for our potato dish. Let's get these washed up and cleaned up. But before we do that, I wanna just take a quick peek at this. And this needs to be turned down. Ooh, got a little dark there. I think that's gonna be okay. I'm actually gonna take that off the heat for just a second, let that deglaze, and then we'll get our zucchini in there. So I want these zucchini pieces to be a little bit smaller. So I'm just gonna run my knife through them. And we're gonna put half of this zucchini in with our sausage and the other half with our onions and peppers. That's gonna be delicious. Zucchini is an amazing vegetable because it just takes on the flavor of whatever you're cooking it with. And we're gonna have so many yummy flavors in all these dishes. Your family's not even gonna know what's in there if you add it. The zucchini is not in any of these recipes. This is just me adding zucchini for 2 reasons. 1, add a little bit more nutrients, and 2, trying to use up what's coming out of my garden right now. And I'm gonna cook this until all of the water cooks out of the zucchini. Now that we have the stove working for us, let's get our oven working for us as well. I've got 4 packages of bacon here, and we're gonna get these onto a cookie sheet, baking sheet, whatever you call it, and we are going to cook this bacon in the oven. I hope I can get it all onto one baking sheet. If I can, I will be thrilled. It smells so good. This bacon and pork, it's both from a hog that I bought from a local farmer. And I'm starting to get a little bit low, so this coming fall, I should probably be placing another order. Now that is a very thick piece of bacon. I think that one did not get cut properly. Oh wow. That must have been the end piece, because that's pretty thick. That's gonna take a little bit longer to cook. Some of them are a little bit thinner and some are a little thicker, so I'll have to just keep an eye on the oven and pull the ones off that are done when they're done. And then the recipe that I'm going to link for you down below, I will link these recipes down below for you. For the potato dish is actually a casserole. We're just going to make it into little muffins, more like individual serving sizes, so that I can freeze them and we can just take out individual servings, as opposed to a whole casserole where you're kind of committed to the whole casserole. And that recipe calls for frozen hash browns. I have some frozen potatoes that I blanched myself from potatoes I grew in the garden last year. And so I am going to pre-cook those just a little bit because I think they will taste better and have a better texture if I do that. But if you are following the recipe down below, you do not have to pre-cook. I'm going to need 2 of these. So let me wash my hands. I'm going to get this in the oven. I'm going to get another baking sheet out so we can get our next 2 out. But you won't have to do the step that I'm going to do, pre-cook the potatoes. I'm just trying to use up. I almost bought hash browns so I didn't have to do this step with the potatoes, but I want to use up what I grew in my garden last year, so I'm going to take the time to roast them just a little bit. And we're doing enough in the kitchen that I'll be able to do something else while the potatoes are roasting. I'm gonna wash my hands and get this into the oven. That's gonna take a while to cook. My sausage is done. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the sausage turned off, and I'm gonna let these onions and peppers cook a little bit more, just to cook off a little bit more of that moisture from the zucchini. My potatoes are in here. I thawed them overnight in the refrigerator. Because these have been blanched and frozen, I was gonna see if they needed to be drained at all. I don't think so. I think these are nice and dry. These are perfect. So I do wanna get these seasoned up. Since we're gonna take time to roast them, we might as well pack them full of delicious flavor. So I'm gonna grab some garlic, paprika. I had some garlic salt out. This is actually not garlic salt. If you see that my garlic salt is green, oh my goodness, I'm spilling it. It didn't have a lid on it. It's because it is actually garlic scape salt. Garlic produces a flour, and the stalk of that flour is called the scape, and you can eat it, and it's delicious. And it tastes just like garlic. So I just dehydrated it with some salt. So even though that has garlic flavor in it, I'm gonna add some more garlic flavor because we love garlic, and pepper. Smoked, make sure that's smoked paprika, not cayenne pepper. And we're gonna call that our seasoning blend. If I had my homemade seasoned salt, I would use that instead, but I am all out of it, so I need to make some more of that up, but not right now. So this is a combination of potatoes. This is Yukon Gold and russets. It's just all the potatoes together. We're gonna get these roasted and slightly crispy. Stove's looking pretty good. So at this point we can add our yeast. And I'm gonna add instant yeast because I don't wanna have to bloom it first. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons. This is a quick rise bread. And I'm gonna knead this for probably 10 to 15 minutes. And I can tell this does not need any more of that flour. It's a good consistency, especially after it kneads for a bit, it'll get even stronger. You know what? I am going to let that knead for a few more minutes actually. But while this is kneading, I'm gonna crack in a ton of eggs into this blender. The next recipe we're gonna make, we can go ahead and get this straight into the oven. We're gonna make the high protein bowls, and I'm actually gonna bake them in my Snapware containers. I've had these since Josh and I first got married. I got them as a wedding gift. I've never baked in them before, but they are oven safe. And we're gonna make individual serving high protein bakes. This is gonna have just veggies, eggs, meat, and cheese and seasonings. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. I have 2, 4, 6 containers here. Now this recipe does call for the one I'm being inspired by. It calls for egg whites, and I'm just gonna use whole eggs in this, and we're gonna make this absolutely delicious. We are changing it up just a little bit. The recipe also calls for spinach. I didn't wanna buy spinach because I could find some frozen spinach in my fridge somewhere, but because zucchini's coming in from my garden, we're just swapping out zucchini for spinach. So this is gonna keep kneading, and I'm gonna crack in a ton of eggs into this blender. I turned off the mixer because the dough is ready to go ahead and proof. Now to our eggs, I'm gonna add 1 pint of cottage cheese. This is gonna make this a higher protein item. Now I'm gonna add some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and we are going to blend. I didn't realize how high I had that turned up from this morning when I made a smoothie for my family. So now what we're gonna do is make up the rest of the batter. I'm just referencing my recipes so I know how much sausage and peppers to take for this recipe. We need sausage for the egg, sausage, and cheese calzones. We need sausage for this dish. And we can use some sausage if we want to, or bacon in our breakfast quesadillas. I'll probably do some breakfast quesadillas with sausage, some with bacon, and then Josh can tell me which one he likes better. And then if I make them again in the future, I know which one he likes better. So for this, I'm gonna make the rest of the batter of the egg bacon here. I'm gonna take just a couple spoonfuls of this sausage zucchini mixture. This sausage is pretty lean because it is sausage from a pasture-raised pig. And then we need a little bit of this onion mixture. We need this onion mixture for our Amish bake, basically our hash brown muffins, and we can add some into our cheese quesadillas. This would be delicious in that as well. So I'm just gonna take a couple spoonfuls of that. So this is gonna make way more than my 6 little containers that I have out, it says. So I pulled out a couple more containers. Maybe I doubled this recipe and I can't remember that I doubled it. Now we're gonna add some cheddar cheese to it. And you could really make this whatever you like. If you like certain types of vegetables better than others, this just needs to be kind of quickly stirred together because most of everything is, cut that piece up, that's a big piece of sausage. Already mixed well, and that's our batter right there. That was easy. This would be super easy if this was the only recipe you were doing to pull together really, really quickly. You could make these probably, I would think, in muffin form too. but we're gonna do it in these individual baking dishes. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? I definitely am gonna transfer these individual baking dishes on a baking sheet. I've had the desire to do this for a very long time, but this is the first time I'm getting around to actually trying it. Can't fit very many of these on here. I can only get 5. I know I have more baking sheets, but I'm not sure where they are. 2 there. See if I can find one more. Sometimes they get left by the freezer because I bring stuff out into the freezer with them. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do, put the same size baking dishes with the same size baking dishes so that I can pull them out because they're not gonna cook at the same rate. I made up a little bit more mixture without the cottage cheese so that each one of these could just have the equal amount, which is 1 cup. And then I'll mix it together. And we're gonna add one more ingredient to this. So I want to top these with some of my garden fresh tomatoes. So I think I'm just gonna slice these. These are called clementine cherry tomatoes, so they're a little bit larger. We're just gonna put a couple slices on the top of each one. Our potatoes are done. They will continue to cook when we actually put them into the potato bites, but let's go ahead and get our egg casseroles in the oven. And these are supposed to bake covered with foil for 20 minutes. And then we'll bake them uncovered for 20 minutes or so. Beautiful. And then I think our bacon is done. I took out half the bacon already. Yeah, that's done. And I put it on this baking dish with some paper towel. So let's get the rest of the bacon on here. I actually think I'm gonna let this bacon cook for just a minute longer. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. We like our bacon a little bit crispier. You cook your bacon how you like it, but I think we like it a little crispier than this. Back into the oven this goes, but we have enough cooked bacon that we can get going on our potato muffins. Well, my dough is ready, so I think we're gonna wait and let's address this dough before we make our potato bakes or potato muffins. This needs to be dealt with first. So I'm gonna roll this out or take it out of here, and I'm gonna divide this in 2 because half of it is gonna be pinwheels and half of it is going to be I need a little bit of flour. Croissants or pockets. They could really be called whatever you want. I want to divide this dough in half. We need to scramble up some eggs for this. So I kind of want to get that going too. So let me set this dough ball here. Set this dough ball. Actually, I'll just put them right back in here with the lid on it so they don't dry out for just a minute while I scramble up some eggs. At this point, I'm just going to add my sausage mixture and my onion mixture together. So we can use this pan to scramble eggs. And if a little bit of onion and stuff is in this, that's fine, because we're gonna add that to all of our recipe. So I'm gonna get this preheated. I need to go grab a bunch of eggs. I'll get that mixed in well in just a minute. Get an eggshell in there. It's easier to get an eggshell out of this little bowl than it is out of the blender. These eggshells are very, very tough, which is a good sign of a good egg. I'm just gonna do them in the blender because I already have this blender messy, and it'll only take 1 second to blend them up and get them nice and smooth. I've now got my eggs blended. I got the bacon out of the oven. I might have to do this in batches. Maybe I can get all of it in here. That had a little bit of seasoning in it from the other recipe. Didn't have a ton of seasoning, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. Little salt, a little pepper. And then I'm gonna add cottage cheese to this. I probably should have added it to the blender, but that's just gonna bulk this up a little bit, add a little more protein, some flavor, and no one's gonna know what it's in there. I don't like just eating plain cottage cheese, but in eggs or something like this, I think it's delicious. Try to get that mixed in well. Look at how much this is puffed up just since we have been working with the eggs. I'm going to just come over here every once in a while and stir. This is gonna take a long time. This is 3 dozen eggs, plus that cottage cheese. It's gonna take a minute. I'm gonna cook it low and slow. No need to cook it fast. I just put the finishing touches on our dinner for tonight, which I'm really excited about. It's a new recipe to me and it smells incredible and it's super, super easy, but look at how much this is puffed up. So this is going to be our I don't know if you'd call them pinwheels. I think you would call them pinwheels, or breakfast pinwheels. I could not find a recipe that was exactly what I wanted, or not even that close to this, but it just sounds good what we're gonna do here, so I'm really excited about it. So basically I have one batch right here of my 1 hour dinner roll recipe, which is a really soft recipe because it has the milk in it and the honey. It's just really, really good. So I thought this would be a good dough for some pinwheels. I have very thinly sliced ham here, some honey mustard, cheese. You could add eggs to this too if you wanted to. You could add any kind of cheese you want. I have provolone, but Gruyere would be delicious. I just went to the deli and asked for very thinly sliced ham and thinly sliced provolone. I'm gonna try to get this into a rectangle. Probably should stir my eggs. They're puffing up a ton, like eggs do. I'll turn this down. So first, honey mustard. I'm gonna leave a little edge here without any honey mustard so we can seal this well. You could add as little or as much honey mustard as you like. I'm gonna stir my eggs again. Now I went with super thinly sliced ham because we love the texture of that. That's why I do like getting my deli meat from the deli, just so that you can then choose how you want it. But if you have a favorite ham, just use whatever you like the best. So I used 13 ounces of ham on here. Now I'm going to use provolone cheese. I think this would make a great lunch prep too. This would not have to be exclusively a breakfast item. I think if you froze these and put them in a lunchbox, by the time it was lunchtime, they would be thawed and you would be able to just heat them up and enjoy them. I think these are going to be delicious. They're going to be huge, but they're going to be delicious. I'm going to roll this closer to me. Let's see. How are we going to cut this? I don't want to cut it on my silicone mat. Can I roll it up onto here maybe? Because I want to use a serrated knife, a really, really sharp one. Let's cut it half. These are going to be big. Half again. Half again. Do I want to do thirds? I think so. You could do pesto and turkey would be delicious. Roast beef and Havarti would be delicious. Cheddar and ham would be incredibly tasty as well. I'm going to try to pinch the edges just to make sure they're not going to open on me. These are going to be super hearty. You could do pizza rolls if you wanted. Do a little bit of red sauce. Or red sauce sometimes gets a little too wet for something like this, so you could do a sun-dried tomato pesto and pepperoni. Probably didn't cut these the most even. I could have, but I think these are going to be probably Josh's favorites out of all of what I make today. I'm going to let that rise for probably just a few minutes, and we're going to get going. Oh, our eggs. Okay, I'm going to turn the eggs off. I'm trying to decide if I should get going on I think I need to do the little mini calzones next because my dough is ready. So let's get some eggs in here. The eggs are for 2 recipes. We've got eggs cooked up for, I'm just cutting them into a little bit smaller pieces. What do we have eggs for? Our quesadillas and our calzones. So let me get some in here. These are a little bit on the softer side than if I was just to sit down and eat scrambled eggs, because both of the dishes that are going to use this are going to have eggs in them again. That's probably more than enough there. I'm going to mix this together because this was the onion, sausage, zucchini mixture. Make sure it's evenly distributed here. This type of recipe too, you could put in here whatever you want. You could do bacon, you could do vegetarian, you could do, that's probably more than enough. If I end up making too much filling, I have not eaten lunch yet, so I'll just sit down and eat it as a breakfast scramble. Okay, now we're gonna add cheese. I wonder if you could just throw this mixture in the freezer. That would be really good. I don't know how eggs, when they're just like this, reheat. I think they would reheat well. Yeah, this is probably more mixture than we need, so I will sit down and eat that because that looks really good. If it's not enough mixture, I can always make more. I don't think something like this would go super well in a pinwheel because it doesn't lay quite as flat as opposed to like a thinly sliced bacon. Or bacon I would probably make into bacon bits as a thinly sliced ham. Or, oh, you could do like prosciutto. That would be good too. Something thinly sliced. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I got 12 of those. Do you think I could get 12 of these? Let me see how much dough it is. And if it's enough dough to make a decent sized pocket. Or calzone. I think that's probably enough. A little bit of flour. Oh yeah, I think that'll be big enough. I was hoping for a calzone shape. So if I can get this into a round, that would be good. I'm gonna need a little bit of water to seal the edges. How cute is that breakfast calzone? So let me get a baking sheet out. I'm not sure why I've never thought about making these before. They are delicious, and you could get totally creative with whatever type of filling your family likes. If you really like potatoes, you could add potatoes. If you're not an egg person, just load it up with potatoes and sausage. You could do a meat lovers version. You could do a vegetarian version if you wanted, with like beans and corn and zucchini and mushrooms and spinach. There's just so many options. These have been a huge hit. As delicious as these are, though, these are not the most favorite thing that were made. The very last thing we're gonna make, which I almost skipped because I was getting tired by the end of the night, are the breakfast quesadillas. That's another thing I had never thought about making before, and they have been a huge hit. So this was really fun on this day to try new recipes. I wanted to do some breakfast meal prep because I don't have any in my freezer. I do now, obviously, when I'm talking to you real time, but when I was actually making these, we had used up all of the breakfast sandwiches we had made and breakfast burritos, because the last time I did any sort of breakfast prep, we gave most of it away. And so I really wanted to kind of push my creativity and try some new things. And I love doing that because we find our new favorites. The pinwheels have been delicious as well. We're going to do a taste test at the end. Josh is going to come down and we're going to cut open each one of the breakfast items that we made and taste them together, because all of them except for one were completely new recipes. So you'll be able to see what they look like and kind of hear our thoughts. But the one really yummy thing about the pinwheels is that they are really versatile in that they could go really easy for breakfast or for lunch. I personally would probably not eat one of these breakfast calzones or breakfast quesadillas that we're going to make in a bit for lunch. I don't really enjoy eating more breakfast specific foods for lunch or dinner. I know that I'm probably in the minority when it comes to that, but I have no problem eating lunch or dinner things for breakfast. I really like eating savory type things for breakfast. So the nice thing about those pinwheels is that they would make a delicious lunch too for, you know, work or school or whatever it might be. And because they will thaw really quick, I'm sure you could pull those out of the freezer and have them in your lunchbox, and they would be thawed in time for taking to work or taking to school and just popping them in the microwave and warming them up. So here you can see what they look like coming out of the oven. Absolutely delicious. I just took a break and had some lunch while those were baking, which felt really good. And I have an idea. I cooked all that bacon. I am going to just freeze that bacon cooked, and it's BLT season right now. I have literally my entire dining room table full of tomatoes. I'll show you that in just a second. And I have more than enough eggs and sausage for this next recipe and the other recipe. So I'm just going to substitute my eggs I'm gonna substitute my sausage for bacon. So bacon's just gonna go in the freezer, because normally with these potato muffins, I would use bacon, but you can interchange whatever protein you want. So I'm just gonna put a couple scoops. I'm doing 3 scoops, maybe 4. So half of the rest of the mixture that I have there. Now we're gonna add 6 eggs after I add some cheese. This already has our peppers, our onions, and our zucchini. I'm gonna put about 1.5 cups of cheese, maybe a little more because we like cheese. That was one other thing. Oh, I'm getting cheese everywhere. That was one other thing I did do this morning, is I did grate some cheese. If you don't like grating cheese, just buy pre-shredded cheese. But I usually buy my cheese, not always, but usually I get my cheese through Azure in block form, and then I shred it myself. Josh just got home. Hey Josh, since you're over there, well, he got home a few minutes ago. Would you grab out those pinwheels out of the oven? I think they're done now.
Sure.
Thank you. There are pot holders right there.
Oh, these are good too.
Good.
You don't like bites?
Yeah, I'm gonna freeze them just in those containers, and those are like a low carb, high protein option.
We need to buy more containers.
I know.
Probably.
Did you have that?
Or eat those quickly.
I just had the thought too. I'll probably put like 3 in the fridge for this week. Those are our leftover containers, and so now they are gonna be sitting half of them in the freezer.
Would you like these?
Could you take them and put them on this cooling rack for me? That'd be really appreciated. Those smell really good.
They look really good too.
I'm excited for those. Thanks. Next, we're gonna add some cottage cheese. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups, but I always just add this whole container because I'm not a big fan of just plain cottage cheese, and I don't know what I would do with just a little bit of cottage cheese. We have one more cooling rack. Have you seen it? I saw it somewhere funny, and now I'm not sure where I saw it. I'm gonna put about half these potatoes in here. Woo! Well, I guess I'm putting all the potatoes in there. Orbit's getting some potatoes that just fell on the ground. Let me clean that up. And then it looks like those other calzones are done. If you could grab those as well, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, there is no more space.
I'm not sure where we're gonna put them. Those are not cool enough to put on something yet. I figured what I would get going next is these potato muffins, because these can bake in the oven while we make our quesadillas. I'm gonna make breakfast quesadillas.
Oh, nice.
Does that sound good? Now this has more potatoes than the recipe calls for, so I'm gonna add maybe 4 or 5 more eggs, just so that it sticks together nicely. Thank you for getting those out. I'm always nervous that things are gonna stick, so for the amount of these silicone liners I have, I'm gonna go ahead and use these. And then I'll spray them, but the other ones I'm gonna spray really well. Josh just brought the eggshells to the chickens for me. Into the oven it goes. And then I have a little left, so I'm just gonna bake it in one of these leftover containers. I just took a minute and got my dishwasher loaded. I probably should have been cooking quesadillas this whole time, but the kitchen was getting a little overwhelming with the sink completely full of dishes. My dishwasher was clean because I'd run it halfway through this cooking day. So I just needed to take a minute and kind of reset my kitchen. I got the counters cleaned off. Truthfully, I'm getting a bit tired at this point, and I considered skipping this recipe, but I don't know what I would do with all of these beautiful eggs and sausage mixture. So I'm gonna press through and we're gonna get this done. I don't think it'll take very long. And just getting the kitchen clean has given me a new wave of energy. So I'm gonna get this in here, the sausage pepper mixture. Now I'm gonna get my eggs in here. I don't think I'm going to make quesadillas that will fit all of this. So whatever I don't, we'll just have for scramble for the week. And I have two sister-in-laws that are elementary school teachers, and they both have two kiddos under the age of 3. So some of these breakfasts, I'm gonna package up and surprise them with some easy meal prep. We'll keep some, and then I'm gonna drop some off at both of their houses because we had family dinner this last weekend, and they were telling me that it's kind of an overwhelming week because school starts this week. So I thought, I'm just gonna surprise them with some pre-made meals. So I'm excited to do that. That'll be fun. If I can get done in a reasonable amount of time, it's a hot day today. I think it's supposed to be like 95. I would like to go to the pool. I already have dinner done. Obviously we have meal prep, so I can go into town, we can go to the pool as a family, and I can drop off some meals to my sister-in-laws. Okay, I'm just breaking up these eggs a little bit because we do not need the eggs that big. This is so good. This filling, the veggies in here, you can't even tell. Well, you can tell the peppers and onions are in there because it's giving great flavor, but that zucchini, no one is even gonna know there's zucchini in it. Zucchini is one of my favorite vegetables because you can add it to so many things and no one even knows. Okay, beautiful big bowl of deliciousness. I have my griddle preheating. I have a thing of cheese here. I'm gonna put a little oil down. I have this on pretty low. I'm gonna put cheese on both sides so they stick together really well. So I'm gonna put some cheese down. And we're gonna get more than 2 on here because I'm gonna fold these in half. I think that they will package up and reheat better if they're folded in half. Now I have my egg sausage mixture here. I'm gonna use the cheese as glue. I'm gonna load these up heavily because I have enough filling, so these will be really hearty quesadillas. Then I'm gonna put more cheese on the top. Turn these way down. Okay, I think I should only put one on there at a time because they're cooking a little faster than I want them to. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I've got to get into a groove here. These would make a good lunch too. Breakfast burritos have always been Josh's favorite things that I meal prep for breakfast. He really likes breakfast sandwiches and things like that. But there's something about the burrito that he's always just loved. And I think he likes these even better. The nice thing about these is I was able to really load them up with a lot of filling, more than I can when I do a breakfast burrito. And so I think we were able to get a lot more protein in each serving. He's only having one of these quesadillas for breakfast, and he says he's full, very satisfied until lunchtime. And what I have been able to do with my griddle pan here is I can get 5 of these going at a time. I am so glad I decided not to give up and press through because I would have never known that these are, 1, super easy, and 2, they're his new favorite. So what I do is I put a little oil down. I'm putting cheese on both the top and bottom of the quesadilla so that all that filling sticks. I'm putting a very generous amount of cheese, I would say, in each quesadilla because I want to make sure that the sausage and the peppers and the zucchini and the egg all stick. And so that's why I decided to do it that way. I have them cooking on one side, and then once they're nice and golden brown, I'll flip them over. My hash brown bites, this is the Amish casserole recipe. This was my mom's recipe, and this is probably my favorite breakfast casserole recipe, one of my favorite breakfast casserole recipes, I should say. And I don't know why I've never thought of making them into like individual servings. This has been perfect as well. I have been enjoying these mostly, and I've also really been enjoying my egg souffles. Those are delicious. I like the Starbucks egg bites. If I'm out and about and I need a high protein, really easy snack, I have been known to go through the Starbucks drive-through and get the egg bites and an iced tea. That just is always really delicious to me. And the ones that I've made kind of have that flavor, and it's just really, really delicious, and that really like fluffy texture, which I really like. So I got the potato muffins out of the muffin tin, and I will say I wish I had enough silicone muffin liners. I'm going to get enough so that I have 24 of them, because the ones that were in the silicone muffin liners were definitely a lot easier to remove. And so in the future, I would like to have 24 of those. But here you can see I am trying to make sure that they get crispy on each side. Or Josh's, I should say. I'm not having these, but Josh's, he is pulling them out of the freezer the night before, or he'll pull like 2 or 3 of them out the night before, and then he's reheating them from thawed. I'm sure you could reheat these better from frozen than you can a breakfast burrito, but just in general, things do tend to reheat a little bit better if you can take the time and thaw them first. So Josh is here. He's gonna go ahead and do a taste test. I'm just gonna cut some of these, and we're gonna get a plate where a lot of these recipes are all brand new to us except for the potato muffins. Josh, normally that is Amish casserole with bacon, but we have sausage.
So it has potato?
Mm-hmm. But it has our potatoes from our garden from last year. So let me cut into each one of these.
Well,
Josh
they look amazing.
Did have lunch, so he's not, I don't think, crazy hungry. What if we'll each do a taste test of each one of them.
Perfect.
So I'll cut 2 pieces per, and then I'll show you guys what they look like inside. It smells really good in here.
Ooh.
Now the breakfast quesadillas, we probably would serve with some hot sauce and sour cream. Or I would have hot sauce. I don't know if Josh would, but.
They look like they're holding together really nicely.
Yeah, I put cheese on each side.
Nice.
So we're gonna get 2 pieces each. And then, I don't think we need to taste this because you know what that tastes like, right?
This is a lot of tasting.
I know.
Wow.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we definitely need to get more of those containers now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this ended up being a big cooking day, bigger than I was originally anticipating. So we have 4 things to taste. Which one do you want to start with, Josh?
Okay, what do I want to start
They're all
with?
kind of finger food except for the egg casserole.
The pinwheel, that's what it's right, pinwheel?
Yeah, are you most excited about that one?
It looks the most
intriguing,
I guess, yeah.
Honey mustard,
Oh,
provolone,
okay.
ham.
Cheers.
I think that would make a good lunch too, not just breakfast.
I mean, ham and honey mustard. It's hard to go wrong with that.
We love that combination. Okay, which one do you want to go with next?
Let's just go with this.
Okay, that's the calzone. Cheers.
Cheers. The dough is really good.
Good. I use the same dough for both.
Really, really good.
You like it?
Very tasty.
I used half all-purpose flour, half fresh milled, and you
I
can
like
really
that.
taste it.
Yeah. I
Fresh
really
milled.
like the fresh milled flour.
And we put some of our honey in this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. You want to try? What do you want to try next?
So I took another bite.
That's okay. That means you like it.
Let's go quesadilla.
Okay. I'm excited about this one.
Yes, it's a cool idea.
Thank you.
And it's loaded with egg.
Yeah, I stuffed them because I had a lot of eggs. Okay.
Ready?
It's good.
That's really good.
You think you'll like
Cheesy,
that? Yeah.
eggy, sausagey.
To make today a little easier on myself, I use the same dough for the croissants and the pinwheels. And then I use the same filling for I said croissants, I meant calzones. For the calzones and for the quesadillas and the potato muffins. And so it just made it easier because I was using a lot of the same components, but they taste different because they are different. Mm-hmm. And we will put probably sour cream and hot sauce on the quesadilla versus the calzone. You'd probably just eat that.
But they stand alone, I think, too.
Yeah.
I don't think you need anything.
Oh, that's good.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to try this?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little tomato on top.
Yeah, that's from our garden.
Nice. That's good, too.
That is good.
The bite of tomato on top is really nice. Very
I think
tasty.
everything but the pinwheels also have zucchini in it, which you wouldn't know. And the eggs have cottage cheese in it, which you wouldn't have known.
Oh, I would not have known.
It's supposed to
Now
add
I taste it. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
tasting is good.
I don't taste it. It tastes really good.
It adds extra protein.
It's great texture.
Yeah, this has a really good texture. It's kind of like a. Do you like the Starbucks egg bites? It kind of reminds me of that.
I don't like those.
Oh,
But I know that you like them.
I do like them. Okay, very good. So now I got to package all that up for the freezer. What would you like me to keep out in the fridge? I'll probably keep like maybe 6 items total.
Maybe whichever ones you think are going to be the hardest to package
Oh, okay.
and freeze. Like maybe let's keep some of those, more of those in the fridge.
Okay.
Like I have to imagine the quesadillas
Okay.
are going to be more challenging because they're going to maybe be more crumbly.
I don't think so because I put a good amount of cheese. I did tortilla, cheese, egg. So I think it'll be okay.
I think let's definitely leave a few of those out.
Okay.
Because they're very good too.
And then I'll leave
So,
some of the egg soufflés out.
Okay. Egg soufflés.
Did you
Oh,
want
is
one?
that what that is?
I was thinking about going to the pool today after I get this package. Do you want to go with me?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
Thank you for doing the taste test.
No problem. Happy to.
I'm going to get all this packaged up now. I'm excited about this. This is different than breakfast sandwiches. I wanted something different than what I normally do, which would be breakfast sandwiches and breakfast burritos.
Yeah, I think it's really tasty. Thanks for letting me taste them.
I will keep you guys up to date. You will see which ones I make again to see like which ones end up in the rotation because we just love it so much. I was also thinking of dropping off some of them to the 2 sister-in-laws because they were saying how busy this week is for them.
Oh,
so if we go to the pool,
that'd be nice.
Can we go drop 2?
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
For sure.
Okay, I'm gonna get this packaged up now. When I make breakfast sandwiches and burritos, I usually individually wrap them, but I did not have the desire to do that today. So I am throwing everything just in a large freezer Ziploc bag. And then when Josh or I pull these out to thaw, then we'll just pull 1 or 2 out and we'll put it in another Ziploc bag and let it thaw in the refrigerator overnight. And then we'll be able to use it. If you prefer to wrap your breakfast sandwiches or calzones or anything individually, that works really well. But we are going to be going through these in a really reasonable amount of time. And so I'm not really worried about freezer burn or anything like that. Basically, I don't have to cook breakfast if I don't want to for quite some time, because you are going to see here shortly that we also do some other breakfast meal prep and more like a sweet breakfast meal prep. So this is definitely like savory, high protein meal prep. And then I'm going to do some more sweeter meal preps that you're going to see.
And between the two, I don't have to cook breakfast for probably, I don't even know. 2 of these egg muffins is my breakfast, and then all the other things, about 1 is a serving. And so I didn't count them up, but you saw how many we made, and that's how many, you know, days and weeks we have worth of meal prep for the future. So these are going to go straight into the freezer just like this.
Friend, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me in my kitchen. This was so fun. These are really new type of concepts for me for meal prep. I really wanted to fill my freezer with higher protein items that are savory, that can be just easy grab and go, where you don't really have to do the thinking. Now, typically, I always like to thaw these types of things overnight in the refrigerator before I reheat them, just because they reheat better. So usually 1 time a week, when I am fortunate enough to have done this for myself, I will go in the freezer and grab a couple different things, or Josh will go in the freezer and grab a couple different things that he wants. He'll throw them in the fridge, and then he will reheat them the next day. And usually they stay fine in the fridge for a couple days. So he will usually grab like 4 things or 2 things or 6 things if I'm gonna be eating them, and then we can just reheat them as we go. If you enjoyed this video and you wanna see how I meal prep dinners, let me put a dinner meal prep video here, and then I'll put kind of more of a sweet breakfast meal prep video here. I wanna thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friends.